Well, I certainly have enough sunlight today. It's Christmas Eve morning, if it's proper to call the morning Eve. I'm down here at Dogwood Park in Mariemont, Ohio, unless I'm no longer in the park. I've been following the stream, which is mostly dry at this point, but there's my shadow. Here it joins a stream that is actually doing something. I've decided to embark on a long journey to find the source of this stream. Oh, there it is. There's some kind of factory at the top of the hill, so I assume all that water's coming out of there. Don't know if you can see that, but it's got steam coming off of it. So it must be a wee bit warmer than it is out here. You can tell this is a civilized area. Lots of signs of life. Here's an interesting log with a thriving mushroom population. I haven't been to Dogwood Park since the high school days. It's not far from Mariemont High School, where I went to school. I lived in Fairfax, which is kind of the other side of the tracks to Mariemont, even though there's no tracks between us. So a lot of the Mariemont kids were kind of snobby to us Fairfax kids. So I didn't hang out here a lot back then. Today I have the big camera with me. This is a Canon Digital Rebel. This is a 17 to 70 millimeter zoom lens that it has on it. I have the big lens in my trusty bag if I'm aiming this thing right. Well, the path I was following came out here on this road, which was not here the last time I came down here. So I have no idea where it goes. Well, actually I do, because the railroad tracks were down here. I do remember the railroad tracks, but I don't know where it comes out at. And in this direction, there's some kind of factory. Up that little drive is the railroad tracks I was just on. Now I'm down here to the lower railroad tracks, which going that way would take me back to Fairfax. And going that way would ultimately take me to Milford. Unfortunately, I'm parked in Mariemont, which is about at least a 2-mile walk going the way I came. But I can go up this road and just be a few blocks away from where I left the car. So, I'm going to take this opportunity, since I have an easy walk back, to go across this field. On the other side of those trees is the Little Miami River, which is probably up too high to get close enough to see anything. If you can see that, looks like the deers have been down here. Deer tracks in the muddy tire tracks. It's getting a little murky down here. Good thing I wore my old shoes. This is where that stream from the factory comes out. I've been down here many times in my youth, and I always wondered where that water was coming from. This little creek flows on down to the Little Miami River. Wonder how polluted that is. Now that we're getting close to the wilderness, I think it's time to change lenses. So I'll show you how that's done, if the camera doesn't fall out of the tree. First of all, I lock this lens, put the cap back on it. Then I pull out the big lens. Take the cover off of this end, if I can figure out how to do it, and leave that in the bag because I've only got the one. A little button down here that releases this lens. I pull that off, and very quickly, so little bugs don't get in there. Put the big lens on, and unlock the big lens. And then I put the cover back on the other side of this lens. And that goes in my bag. Take the cover off of this one. Now I got a big heavy lens to carry. This thing weighs about 5 pounds, it feels like. It zooms out to 500 millimeters. Goes into 200 millimeters. This is that stream coming from the factory. Flows down here and joins this stream, which is actually part of the Little Miami River, but not the river itself. Straight across, except it's way too sunny, straight across there is Goose Island. I'd have to get across here, and then cross Goose Island in order to get to the river. The water's up a bit, and it's still kind of chilly out to be tramping through the woods with soggy feet. So, I think I'll skip the river today. On the other hand, I'm hearing all sorts of birds in this little corner of the woods I'm standing in, so maybe I'll get some decent pictures after all, with my trusty big lens. I didn't even know this park was up here. According to the plaque, it was built in 2000, so it's been a while since I've been in this area, because it's probably been a few years before that. It was designed by John Nolan in 1921, but not built till 2000. I'll bet there's an interesting story behind that. When I get home, I'll have to see if Mr. Google knows anything about it. Here's the pavilion. And here's the park. It was a nice little parking lot I could have parked in. That would have made everything so much easier. Oh well. I know where to park next time I come down here. Well, that's my tramping through the woods video for the day. Now I'm going to go tramping through Mariemont till I get back to the car. Probably about 6 blocks from here.